You're listening to the Money Mike Syndicated Radio Podcast, and how about the Chicago Sky? They took down the Indiana Fever, and Caitlinclark is upset, frustrated, and not happy. You know, you looked at this game, and they took them down 88-87, and the Indiana Fever had a 15-point lead. And the Chicago Sky, led by Kennedy Carter and outstanding Angel Reese, they came back and they kept chomping at the bit at the Indiana Fever, and the Fever didn't respond. It was something that was somewhat shocking and got a little frustrating. So kind of what happened today, as you know, well, we'll just take a look. You know, you got Smith had 12 points coming out of there and pulled down 7 boards, had some frustration times. Just guard defense out there, and Angel Reese just gave her fits, and it proved to be more than she might have bit off on. Angel Reese showed a little bit more tenacity, championship tenacity in that one. And you're going to look at Boston. Boston finished with 18. You come back there, Mitchell finished with 24. You got Wallace with 9, and Clark finished with 17, 13 assists, and also getting 6 rebounds and 4 steals. There's not a whole lot more Caitlinclark could do, and this is one where we're going to have to see how this develops up, because it looked like some of the Indiana Fevers didn't know the plays. And on the game they play where Boston knocked down a 3, Boston didn't care about knocking down a 3. She was more concerned, that one of the Fever didn't go get the screen and allow the play to be ran. And that is an issue that needs to be dealt with as far as how it works out and how they run from here, because the schedule doesn't get any easier. That was a win that they should have. Here's the deal. When you got a 15-point lead and you're coming down the pike 15 points up and you got about 6.5 minutes, you don't score. This is in the fourth quarter. And so you allowed the Chicago Fever to continue to crawl back into this game, and once they had a little life and a little momentum, they went ahead and closed the game out. Now, there was times where, there was Angel Reese. I mean, let's face it. And when that comes down to Smith, that's your assignment. And when you're looking at something like that, and you got Cardoso sitting there with 16, you got Angel Reese sitting there with 25. So where did they pick it up? They picked it up in the post. And folks, this is what I told you. I said, hey, here's the deal. You're going to have times where you're going to have to play defense, and it's going to get tougher for Smith. There's no doubt about it. You got a Boomake, you got Seattle Storm coming. You got to play Liberty's going to come in there and play you. However, you got to execute this thing out, and here's my concern. And I don't know how Christy sides. It's a little frustration. This will take all the air out of your balloon, because you got to answer the question, how did we lose a 15-point lead? How did we lose a 15-point lead? I repeat. And Money Mike's going to tell you why. I told you I got confidence and I feel about Wheeler. For some reason, I'm not sure. I don't know if Wheeler was injured. I don't know the reason why Christy Sides didn't play Wheeler. Wheeler gives an uplift on the defensive side, and man, oh man, she's on the plus side. Well, today, as it came out, Wheeler played 15 minutes. 1 for 3. Coming in there 2 for 2 at the free throw line, 2 rebounds, 2 assists, and finished with 4 points and a +2. Now here's the deal with that. When you get to efficiency, this is where it shows up, folks. And I told you what was going to happen on this game in the defensive end and how it was come out. And Mitchell battled out. I give Mitchell credit. You dropped 24 points, and you battled out. Mitchell battled out and came out at a +0. So she played and competed, but you needed to fit somewhere in there to get that burst of energy, effort. That's the glue person. That's kind of what Wheeler is, to get that bursting going, because you didn't get that in the second half. And you got to remember, you came back when you put Wheeler in the game. You bursted back ahead, you took the lead, and then you come back second half. She doesn't play. That's confusion, and you got to look at it a couple ways, because at the end of the day, you're going to figure out what direction we're going to go. We got to rebuild on this, and we got to look at it and say, well, who contributed, who didn't. Now, the biggest standpoint of it all, if you want to look at it across the board, the Fever played good basketball, just had a mental freeze. They were shot 46% from the field. Folks, that's excellent. You go out and play a ball game, you shoot 46%. You know, they launched it out from the three-point line. They were sitting at 43%. Okay, that's great. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, you'll take that every game. Now you get there, free throw line, 71%, 10 of 14, didn't get to the foul line much. And here's the thing I noticed that's happening with the Fever. Somehow they're going to have to integrate the downhill game because you got the wings sitting out there, and it's extremely frustrating. And here's the part that I'm not sure, and it gets me kind of in the point where I have to kind of, pump my brakes a little bit. But I want to talk to you about what I saw is I'm not sure why after the entry pass to the post goes in there, they don't exchange. They don't continue running offense. And I see Caitlin just standing in one spot. It's taking her 12 seconds to get the ball into the post. By the time she gets to the post, there's no relocation. The players aren't relocating, and they're not exchanging. And that should be happening. Or there should be a play that you have designed. And I noticed that the Fever didn't, that you can run through and you can get a bucket that's going to be manufactured. Now, that was surprising to me because I expected to see the Fever get that done, and they didn't do that. And it was just an offensive scoring game. You got the Chicago Sky shot 50% from the field, 31 to 62. Here's the deal. When you got to get in there and you say there's no way the Fever should have lost to the Chicago Sky. Here's why. Chicago Sky shot 4 of 17 from the three-point line, 23.5%, 68% from the free throw line. Now, as you dig a little deeper and you want to find out who won the rebounding battle, well, that ain't hard to find. The Fever were out-rebounded by the Sky. We're looking like we're touching it at 38 to 25, and that's going to be a problem. When you get out-rebounded, guess what? You're going to lose a ball game. Okay, so we got to control that block, but we got to have all five hitting to the block, because here's what I did notice is watching the game. A lot of players are leaking. They're leaking out instead of, we're on the defensive side. We're going to send five to the glass because you can't lose the rebounding battle. Okay, we win the battle at the three-point line, but you lose the rebounding battle, and that's going to be a little frustration. Now, here's the deal. With CaitlinClark dropping 13 assists, okay, 13 assists today, 28 assists overall. You win the assist battle, 25 going in there to the actual Chicago Sky. And when you're looking at that, you got Allen drop 7 assists. You got Carter drop 5 assists. And you think about Kennedy Carter today, here's when you're going to look at efficiency. And I talk about it all the time. You got Chicago Sky won the ball game by 1 point. Okay, you put up Carter. Carter is a plus 12. Okay, folks, that's getting it done. That's saying, look, I'm going to dig down on the defensive side. I'm going to get you the stops. Because when you talk about getting stops, that's what the plus minus is for. So when a player's getting stops, they're stopping the other team from scoring, and you're scoring, that moves you in the plus side. And that's what Kennedy Carter did. I mean, you had several of them. You have Allen plus 8, Cardosa plus 6, and then you come in there, Angel Reese. Man, oh man, I got to give her flowers. Angel Reese comes in there, 8 of 12. Okay, 9-11 from the free throw line, 3 offensive rebounds, 13 defensive, 16 boards. Comes in there, and man, oh man, she lit a fire. Now, here's the deal. Running the floor, let's play giddy up and getting fed those passes. That's what CaitlincLark's getting turnovers on. Okay, if you ask me, that's what CaitlincLark's getting her turnovers on when she's feeding and they're running the floor. Today, when the Chicago Sky, Angel Reese ran the floor, they fed her into the post. Tight window, tighter than the NFL window. Angel Reese caught the ball and got it there, okay? She started running the center of the floor. Now, Boston was out there trucking and Smith. You know the deal. You're going to go into some heated battles in that 3, 4, 5 spot, okay? There is no doubt about it. There's going to be some heat of the battles in the 3, 4, 5, and Wallace has got to win some of those battles. Came out at a -3, okay? And that's where you got to look at it. Where am I losing at? You have Boston come in there -1 and Smith a -4. So we lost in the 3, 4, 5 position, okay? That's going to be wing, the power forward, in the center. And these 3, 4, 5 positions, we're going up in the next team. Like I said, you get to the Liberty. Okay, you're going to get to the Seattle Storm. You're just going to, the competition level's going up. Frustrating win today, 88-87. The Fever played well enough to win. just didn't score in the last 6 minutes and about 30 seconds of the game and didn't execute the plays that Christy Sides was sitting in. And that's a challenge because now we got to talk about the plays. Now we got to talk about losing the lead. Now we got to get on the plane and everybody's going to be in a depressed mode because you sampled losing a 15-game loss. There was no way for losing that loss. Now, here's where Money Mike will just spell it out right to you. I salute the Chicago Sky. They didn't move that game to the United Center, and I understand why. When that game started, let me tell you what was going on. It was hotter than a firecracker in there, and they wasn't turning on no air conditioning. That was a hometown crowd that stayed with it the whole game and believed they can get the fever. The fever got to get ready to understanding that you must finish. Caitlinclark's going to understand, but she's got to get the ball. She's got to have the play set. And for the life of me, we got to get better. Okay, that's what's going on. Caitlinclark's upset, frustrated, not happy. Okay, losing a ball game like that. Not only that, she doesn't really care whether you lose to Angel Reese or anybody. If she loses a game like that, Caitlinclark is not going to be happy. Expect a big rebounding game, but we need all 5 of the Fevers locked in. Locked in. That means you are 24/7 locked in, and let's go get the next ball game. This is the Money Mike Syndicated Radio Podcast. We are powered up by Fanatics. We just saw the Fever have a hot meltdown. All things are possible to those who believe, and we'll see you soon. This is the Money Mike Syndicated Radio Podcast.